This is your first time back on Creative Culture.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be fun.
It's like old times,
We're
bro.
probably not going to talk about none of this. Except for probably like one.
That's usually how it goes.
Yeah. You're the one that taught me how to keep like a podcast, like an outline of a podcast. I never did that.
It was always so stressful because I'm like, I always wanted to be prepared, especially when we had guests.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't want to just like be stumped and have nothing to speak about. I wanted a direction and let it flow from there. But
that's what we're doing, like for the one that we're going to next week to Oregon.
Heck yeah.
Like I'm very like, I told Ashley, hey, we need to get this sent out to him tonight. Like,
absolutely.
He's very like, yo, whatever you want to talk about, let's do it.
Yeah.
Which is cool because he's giving me a lot of freedom to just.
So that's a huge guest.
Yeah.
So did he give you like a time limit or he just said whatever?
Bro said, what dates are you thinking about coming out?
Yeah.
I said, this is the week. And he said, all right, let me know for sure. I sent him a screenshot of the tickets. He said,
flying.
Yeah.
You're flying
It's
out.
only an hour and 40. I think the tickets were $100 round trip.
Jeez.
And it was actually like $40 a ticket or 30 something.
Yeah.
But I did the insurance. So I made it $50. And it's for me and Ash. Me and Ash are both going out there. The most expensive thing was the Airbnb, which was like 3 something.
That's your shooting hub and everything.
Yeah.
They go into your place?
Yeah. Yeah. The car rental was like $80
Yeah.
for 4 days.
Get after it.
I'm excited though. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous, but not a bad nervous.
Is that your biggest guest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got more numbers than Miles had, and I think we got Miles right before
he blew
the
up.
explosion.
Yeah. The first time we had him, it was 19. He had like 19,000. And we were like, dude, he's got 19,000.
Yeah.
And then the second time we had him, I think he had like 50 or 60. Now he's like almost 500,000 or something.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Yeah, he's
bro.
going insane.
How was it working with him?
Working with Miles was cool.
You know how we just started the podcast like that? You saw that?
Yeah.
It's crazy. No
Yeah,
introduction.
there's your clip already too. No, working with Miles was cool. It was eye-opening. And just to like, he's really the same dude on camera, off camera. He's really that same energy, the same passion, the same fire. And he's just like always thinking of like different creative lanes. Like if he has an idea, we literally would sit down and just be like, all right, where can we go with this? How can we create content off of this? And I was working with them when he dropped, what song was it? It was just before the album came out, but he dropped one with DKG, Kai.
Mm.
I don't know if you heard of him.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, I got to be a part of their music video and everything. But just to see like the rollout of everything was cool.
Because he's still not signed, right?
He has his own. So they started their own label.
Their own label, yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
everything is funded by him.
He's the man.
Dang.
Yeah. So I think he signed Tommy Zuko. Tommy's going crazy. And then he signed, I forgot his other boy that's been with them for a minute, but
Emmanuel or something like that.
I forget his name, but he has a crazy story too. But they're going crazy, man. They're like part of the Grammys now.
Yeah.
And just
Wasn't
blowing
his
up.
song on got picked up for 2K or something like that? I just saw recently.
One of his unreleased joints.
Yeah, I was
did,
like, what? It's like, well, the gospel's being spread out.
Yeah, I mean, well, his songs are getting played at different games, and they've played it at WNBA games. They've played it at Warrior games that he's gotten invited to. So he's going crazy, bro.
So that was a pretty cool experience to
Yeah, it was hard. I will say, because it was during the time, and we've talked a little bit about this, that it was like one of the hardest times for us and the family. And for me, like if I was single, and I talk about this all the time, if I was single and 18, 20, like
Easy.
I'd still be there.
Yeah.
But I needed something a little bit different just for the family. And I can't be traveling like crazy like that anymore.
You're talking about family, like, so for me,
Yeah.
I'm in this weird place, right?
Y'all see that segue? You guys see the segue right there?
With me, it's been great to have a supporting wife. You have an incredible supporting wife as well. We both have 2 girls, 2 daughters. And for me, it's been incredible, right? Because I started with Red Worship right before all the crazy big stuff. Like I was with them after their first EP, but like I was there for the live recording of the album. And from there on, and I mean, we just released a song with Naomi Rain, which is like doing crazy numbers.
Yeah.
And the video hit a little over 1 million views.
Let me ask you this. Were you in the room when that song that got released? Yeah. With that trip you took, were you in the room for the writing session?
Yeah.
Was it done there?
Yeah. Naomi Rain is probably, I don't think people, I wish people would see how she writes.
Yeah.
That lady, as soon as the break, so we did in the morning collective worship together, prayed, and then everybody went to their selective areas, right? We had 2 Airbnbs. They were the same, it was attached to each other.
Yeah.
I was actually in the room next door. I was in the next door house at one writing session. And I said, we could hear like something was going. So I said, I'll be back. I went to that writing session.
Nice.
And I just see Naomi like, I have this crazy idea, and she just, and when I tell you, they could have cut the demo as a record by itself. Her voice is polished to the T.
Yeah.
One take, like when I tell you she's a one take, she's a one take. So I was there to see most of that song be written, and then I was there when what songs are we cutting from this writing session? What songs are we keeping? And then I was there for all the rehearsal part of it, where there was just keys, and then they try to figure out the song. Like musicians, let's get together and let's figure out the song
and everything.
So I was there basically from the beginning to the end of that song.
Yeah,
and it's crazy.
No,
and it's
the process. I'm like, this is my creative brain. I'm like, why wouldn't they record more of it, just like constant, so you can?
There was a lot of the recording. I just don't think
the audio maybe not there.
It was mine and Brian's first time at a writing session, so we necessarily didn't know what to expect. Now that we did do that, because we were there for 3 days writing, now it's gonna be easy.
Did they have someone on keys and everything?
Yeah, keys, guitar, whatever. So there was 3 rooms. All 3 rooms had keys, and a microphone. Mm-hmm. And then Andrew, which is one of the artists with the Red, he had his guitar. Acoustic.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Naomi Rain got on the acoustic and was like figuring stuff out. Then like she had our MD playing stuff on keys. Like it was sick, bro. Like
yeah,
it was an experience. Like I told Ashley, I still almost can't process everything that happened, because I got to sit around with some people that if I were to tell you certain songs that we found on the radio, like they were there. Mm. And I'm like, you wrote that song? And she's like, yeah, I wrote this song. And he's like, yeah, I wrote this song. And I'm like, bro, this song at one point was a staple in my life. Like this helped me, and this is the gentleman that wrote the song. So it was cool.
Yeah. Doesn't it not drive you crazy, but like blow your mind when you look at, like, I remember there was a moment when I was in the green room with Miles and just the people that were around. Yeah. I'm like, what is happening? Why am I here? Yeah. Like, if I would have stayed, like I was going to go on tour with freaking Lecrae and meet up with them in different places. Like, what? Like, what is this? And then you're in a room. I remember seeing that. I was like so proud. I had nothing to do with anything.
I think everybody, I had so many screenshots from Naomi's Instagram story.
Yeah, I did the same thing, bro. Did I send you one? I might have. But did. I remember texting you or something or seeing it, and I was like, yo, he's doing it. It's working. Like he's finally seeing what we've talked about for a long time. Yeah. So keep rocking it, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it was given to me, I think, at the perfect time, or it was handed to me at the perfect time. I believe that if I would have received it earlier, I think I would have blew it. Mm-hmm. Because I'd have been so focused on capturing a moment for me instead of capturing a moment for them. And I don't even remember where my phone was at half of the time.
Yeah.
Because I was so like locked in on what was happening in the room. And sometimes we miss what's happening in the room because we're carrying something that we want to carry for ourselves. Mm. Sometimes God is in the room and you don't even know he's in the room because you're so focused on capturing something for your personal being. Yeah. What's the point of you going to a concert and just record the concert through your phone instead of enjoying the moment? And that's what I had. I had that like, I'm just going to enjoy this ride. I don't know if I ever get to see these kind of people again. Granted, they're just people, but still, like, Roosevelt was one of my favorite, if not one of my favorite preachers, communicators to this day. And to sit with him, to go shopping with this guy. Like I went to the store I drove him to the store that day. Like, and we went out, we hung out. He showed me, what's that song called from SEU Worship? What a God. He showed me that song in February. It didn't release until months later. But I remember him like, hey bro, I just got they just sent me the final. I'm gonna play it. And I'm like, okay.
That's how I felt with Miles. So he showed me the first verse and I think like the chorus of Christ-like.
Okay.
Months before Christ-like came out.
Yeah.
And then Christ-like went crazy.
Yeah.
So
it's just
kind of similar feeling.
Yeah, it's like, dude, it's crazy.
But to hit on that, like I think one of the things that, and I'm still in the process, not to say that I've arrived there, but I'm like struggling with understanding where things are going or why they're happening. But for you, like you didn't record really any personal things when you're in those rooms, because to hit on your point, it was like, look what God did rather than look what I did or what we accomplished. And it was like breaking those things off. And that's taken me a long time. That's why I go back and forth between posting things and then deleting things. And then I'm archiving everything. And then I'm like, what am I creating this for? Like, I don't care about I don't want people to look and take a peek into what I'm doing. I'm trying to still trying to figure out what that is. Like, how can I showcase like what God is doing in my life? Because I'm still breaking a lot of things off. You're still good. Okay. And trying to like refine things and get back to even some things. And like, I'm freaking 30 years old now and
old head. No, I'm just kidding. I'm 30 in a few months.
Dude. It's so weird because me and V have been talking about it a lot, like, especially when we're trying to still pour into our marriage and like figure out who we are as a couple. Because I'm like, I told her this a couple of days ago. I was like, I was 19 when you met me. We got married at 22. That kid is gone. and not in like in a bad way, but
of course not.
Maybe it is a bad way. I'm still trying to like flush it all out. But the kid that you met and that he's long gone. Like he doesn't act the same. He doesn't respond the same. His personality's probably changed. And I said this to her kind of verbatim. I was like, I'm not sure about me. I'm not sure about my purpose. I'm not sure about where I'm walking. I'm not sure how to respond to some things. The only thing that I'm sure of is that I love you. That's it. We love God. We love each other. That's literally all I know right now. And this is like present day. We're trying to walk through this.
So like, days ago. Like,
when it comes when it comes to, I love this thing, dude. Like, you know, I love content. We've been doing this together for years now. It's like, what do I do with that? Like, have I always known what I was supposed to do with it? And I try to get away from our calling. We always said it, you know, we had cameras and our dads had pulpits, but I'm like, was I supposed to run away from like even this kind of stuff and just focus on this? And so that's where I've been at when it comes to content. And when you talk about the journey we've been on, you're working with Red Worship, I was doing what I was doing there. And then I kind of like, maybe it's time to put it away, put the cameras down and sold my stuff. And so it's just been this roller coaster of not only figuring out me now, but the side stuff too. Like, okay, I think purpose-wise, go ahead.
There's always purpose behind, you know, I've heard people say there's purpose behind the pulpit.
Yeah.
But there's purpose behind the camera. I think sometimes we look at capturing moments for others, and sometimes we need to capture the moment for us. I feel like, and this is where I'm at, and this is, and this transparent, where I had somebody come up to me and say, flat out, what you're doing with cameras is only a setup for the church that God's going to give you. And I'm like, huh?
I'm like, expand on that.
But the thing is, I remember telling Ashley 2 weeks before we went to this conference, I remember telling Ashley, I said, I don't know why, but I feel God is transitioning. Like, he's transitioning my heart to almost have a pastoral heart, a different type of care for people, to carry other people's burdens differently, so on and so forth. And I remember telling Ashley, I was like, what happens? Like, what would it look like if God was to hand us a church in like 5 years? And we just looked at each other like, she's like, well, I ain't gonna. I ain't preaching, babe. It's like, I'm not saying you're gonna preach. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like,
First lady over here.
yeah, right. I need the hats. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just like, what is it gonna look like, right?
Yeah.
And I just kind of let that conversation just stop right there. What would it look like? And we just left, and we went on with the rest of our day. And a few weeks later, this gentleman comes up to me. Never met. This is the first day I met this guy. Matter of fact, I met him because of my Puerto Rican flag, because he's Puerto Rican. And then I don't know. He's like, "Hey, would you allow me to speak into your life and whatever?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." Like, I know that he's known for doing that. So like, you know, and he flat out said, what you're doing with the cameras is only a setup for the church. Like, you're going to be able to fund the church with what you're doing with cameras, what you're doing. He's like, you're doing this because it's teaching you how to teach others or the vision that God's going to give you for a church. And I was like, oh my God. So I think what this is, bro, is just really a setup for even more for us.
Yeah.
And I think the more that the enemy can take that away from us, the bigger I guess, quote unquote, the bigger picture that he has for us.
Yeah.
It's okay. He's not going to get to that because he's done with this. And we've had conversations, bro. I remember when you started the shift in 2020, like maybe it was prematurely done, but maybe that's what God is going to call you back to in the future. You went through some crazy last year and a half, 2 years, from not wanting to have another kid to out of nowhere, there's another kid. From me never seeing you go back to your old job because of the certain circumstances that you would, you know, have to give up your summer, so on and so forth, to now you're back there. I see that I don't want to say the city, but what Bakersfield tried to do to you was to run you dry. Bakersfield is like a desert.
It's a desert.
Desert runs you dry.
Yeah.
In deserts, it's hard to find water. In deserts, there's hard to find food. It's empty. But what I feel was what was meant to dry you, suck the life out of you, just gave you another story to tell, hey, I remember when it is. I know what it is to be in the wilderness. I know what it's like to be in the desert. I know what it's like to be where I can't find food. I can't find drink. And the only one I could lean on and the only one I can lean on is God. And now you're starting to get some H2O back. You're starting to be able to eat some more food again. You're starting to, okay, I made it to, maybe, you know, you're not maybe where God wants you yet, but he's like, okay, you went off of a yes, and maybe it wasn't the right yes, but the yes that you had, God saw the heart of, okay, he's willing to stop everything he's doing to follow me.
Yeah.
And it's not that you weren't following him, but taking a risk of security. Like, you left very, very secure to go to something that was very unsecure. And it became extra unsecure. every few
unsecure.
And you didn't know that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know, but you knew that I feel this tug to go. Sweetheart, what you think? All right, I feel peace, babe. All right, let's go. And then now life came out of that. Your heart opened up to a whole nother person, you know? And you became wiser. So now you can see things a little bit differently.
Definitely. I would say, I mean, we talked a little bit about Bakersfield. It was definitely like one of those, it was a season where I had to learn a lot.
Yeah.
And not because of anything that was there, anybody that was there, but it was because of a lot of things that I didn't have that I thought I did, like integrity wise, just from even financial education wise and just decision making. Like, you saw certain things, like, why wouldn't you think? So it was a lot of learning. So I'll take that out of Bakersfield. But one of the things that now is I had gotten away from trusting in God and having faith in God. And I've talked about this before too. Is like I had faith in the financial stability. Like I leaned on that. I'm like, oh, we're good. I'm financially confident in myself, right? You go to Bakersfield and that gets completely wrecked,
shattered. Yeah.
And so we've shared this before too. When you have a new baby, you have a negative $1,000 in your account, and you have no food, no help, nothing. Your credit cards are maxed out. It was God literally slapping me in the face of like, you were always secure in your money. Where you at now, bro? What's good? Where are you going to lean now? Because you're not leaning on me. You've always leaned on that. And now you have no other options. What are you going to do? Yep. So they broke that down in me. And now fast forward, we're here where we're at. There's a little more stability. Like V got blessed with a cool job. I'm doing pretty good back at camp. And now it's back to leaning on that stuff. And then you just have all this anxiety and frustration and like, okay, what's good? Like, we're fine. What is all this about? And then I driving in the car after I drop off the kids at daycare and school. And I'm like, God, and I'm screaming at this point, I'm here. What's up? I can't do this anymore. Yeah. Driving down the road, bro, like people probably think I'm crazy because I'm like literally screaming.
I've been doing that too, so you're
like,
good.
I'm here. I'm right here. Let's go. What is it? And then it's like this weird feeling, like I can't put it into words, but it's like almost the thought of like, that's where I needed you to get. That's where I needed you. Now we can start working from here. You know what I'm saying?
Open heart surgery.
Yeah, almost, yeah. And it's one of those things. There's just been this song on my heart, and on my mind, created me a clean heart. Because I've leaned on everything else. I have fought with everything that I have, but I'm like, bro, you are so weak. You can't do this. You got to lean on something else. And so that's been my prayer in my heart the last couple of weeks, dude. And this is so fresh still for me because we're barely getting back into church and we're barely like doing all this stuff to where it's like I'm realigning some things in my mind and in my heart and getting back to what our values are and our legacy is or was, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a journey, man. It's crazy.
It's funny you saying all that because now for me, we're at a place where we're starting to see financially blessings. We're starting to see a lot of open doors. And it's funny when they say that money doesn't make you happy. It really doesn't. It makes things easier for you. Finances has helped me just do more for God, do more in the faith, be able to like, okay, I can be a little extra at church this week, or I can actually help this person a little extra, maybe whether it's financially or just sitting there having conversation. Like even us coming down here, like we were coming down. What were we coming down here for? She had one photo shoot. Yeah. Well, you had one initially. And Ashley was like, should we do it? Like, I'm not even going to charge her what I normally charge. I'm like, yeah, let's just go out there and do it. Red light blinks. I want to sit down with there. And I haven't had them on creative culture since, the transition of creative culture.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and then end up, we're here at the Seed, by the way. It's my brother Mel's, their church. And the conversation we had last night, I was just like, okay, God, I know why I'm down here. Yeah. It was more than just her going to shoot so we can have extra money when we go to Oregon next week. It was more than that. And I think for me that you have to like, who you surround yourself with really matters.
100%.
And I was just talking about this on the way here. One of the greatest characteristics that my dad or things that my dad implemented in me was loyalty. But one of the worst things he implemented in me was loyalty. And loyalty has put me in great rooms. Loyalty has kept me in great rooms. But loyalty has also broken my heart a lot because people have hurt me.
People be people.
And yeah, people just, it is what it is, whatever benefits them, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And so I'm at a place now where you choose who to be loyal to. And my loyalty might have an expiration date on certain things. And maybe it's because of the hurts, the pains, or maybe it's just because it's wisdom now. Yeah. Be wise of who you talk to. Be wise of how you talk to people. Be wise of what you say to people. There's people that I talk to this that'll call me and talk to me and share everything with me. And I used to do the same. Now I listen. I don't share the same because I know where that lies. And I think you're at a perfect place because you're at a place where you're sitting there like, all right, Lord, created me a clean heart.
Yeah. It's like I feel like this sleeping giant almost.
Mm-hmm.
That's like starting to stir. Mm-hmm. He's been asleep a long time. And I feel like that's coming back. Cause I'm like, you've poured into my life. V yells at me all the time of like, bro, you were gifted in this or that or the other. And people have told us that, right? Especially growing up pastors' kids. And I've told myself for a long time, looking in the mirror, dude, I've been like, yo, you're an idiot, dude. Mm-hmm. You are worthless. You're not that good. Like, you can't even speak that well. You don't sing that well. You're garbage on the keys. And that's what I've been telling myself for years.
Yeah.
And one thing that I've been trying to work on is that part. I'm like, bro, like, Bible literally talks about what you say has so much power behind it. And so when I've been telling myself, you know what I'm saying? When I've been telling myself, you're garbage, you suck.
That's what you are.
That's exactly what's going to happen. That's exactly how I'm going to feel. And so just the littlest thing of like catching things that I would complain about, I'm like, no, choose to be grateful.
I think you need to be delivered by yourself. You need to be delivered from yourself.
You're your own. I mean, I'm my own worst enemy. I don't know if that's everybody.
Reason why we just started the podcast again wasn't because of nobody else. Ashley had nothing to do with it. Guests, so on and so forth. What are we going to talk about topics? None of that was the reason why. It was because every day I looked in the mirror and I said, you're the biggest hypocrite, bro. I said it in just the reel that I just posted a few days ago where I said, you can motivate people on a camera, do this and I'll do that, but then you can't even do it to yourself. You edit the video, you do all that, and what happens? You go and post it, you're still empty because you don't even believe the words that are coming out of your own mouth. And sometimes we listen to we listen to the worst things that come out of our mouth, but we can give people some of the greatest advice out of our mouth, but don't take it for ourselves.
Not do it yourself, yeah.
So I think you need to just find deliverance in you. And what God is going to have, and what I believe God is doing now, and the Holy Spirit's going to allowing you to do is to fight you. Mm-hmm. Because you'll never be able to, you'll never have a peace inside you until you find peace inside you. Yeah. Like, it's inside of you. My wife can tell me she loves me 30,000 times a day. But if I don't believe that I love myself, whatever she says, it just won't work.
It's not enough. You gotta be content.
It makes me big-headed for 5 minutes. But when those 5 minutes are gone, I feel unloved again. And that's because there's something inside of my heart that doesn't allow me to love me enough for others to love me. I can't accept something from you until I can accept it from myself. And that's just me. I'm not saying that's everybody else, but for me, bro, it's me.
It takes time to get there too, dude, because I can hear the people that are closest to you can be telling you the same exact message, but you become so callous to a voice like that. Mm-hmm. I'm so callous to my wife's voice sometimes. I'm so callous to my dad's voice sometimes, the people that pour the most into my life. And then I'll hear the same exact message from somebody else.
You know how many times Mel has told me things?
Yeah.
And his wife, Steph, this is big brother, big sister, like over 10-year relationship where they have poured so much into my life. He has said so many things that it's not until like last week that I'm like, oh, he did say that, Like he'll be like, he'll say certain things and it's not until like later on that I get it.
But it's in its own time, exactly.
Yeah, but then it's like, but you're right. I hear from somebody else and I'm like,
and then she gets pissed because like, I've been telling you this.
Yeah. Facts. And man, and that's why like sometimes we look at the outer circle because it's bigger than what the inner circle is. And that inner circle has the best intentions for you and will also correct you and will also love you. but also slap you in the face and also kiss you in the cheek when they slap you. Like, and we need that. Like for me, I'm very hard headed. I need a slap and then a kiss at the same time. You know, yeah, per se. Because, but I think for me, man, I'm at a stage in my life where my heart is open to let God just do what He does, and the Holy Spirit. But I can't say that it just happened. It wasn't a thing that. It wasn't until I started to allow myself to heal, allow myself to get restored, allow myself to sit. I'm a runner. Jesus, when He walked on this earth, did He ever run?
No.
He was a walker. Mm-hmm. He walked the places. The lady with the issue of blood would have never got healed if Jesus was running.
Passed right by.
He would have he was running to Jairus' house. Mm-hmm. But He walked. She was able to fight her way through the crowd and touch the dirtiest part. I say the most anointed part because the oil falls down from the head down. Yeah. So for me, it's like, oh, well, Jesus wasn't he wasn't really running. Like, unless I'm wrong and I've read the Bible wrong, please correct me if I'm wrong. But like, He walked.
Yeah. I think there's times, man, because let's rewind, right? Creative Culture a couple years ago was on a incline.
We still get likes every day from stuff that was 2 years ago.
It was on an incline, right? It was doing pretty good, all on our own strength, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, even if it would have blown up beyond that and we would have kept the momentum, my integrity, my character would not have been able to sustain. You talked about it. If you were given the red worship opportunity, you would have fumbled it because you weren't ready for it then. And it's like now I feel like I'm getting to the point where I'm like, bro, I know I ain't that guy, but I trust God and my faith is rebuilding.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whatever you want to do. Like, even we've been focusing on our finances a lot. And like, this is not my money anymore. We've given to the church more than in the last 2 months than we did in the last 5 years. So it's just all these little things that I believe are going to compound because we're just trying to trust God with everything at this point. Because I didn't trust Him with anything before. I've been raised in this thing and I still didn't. But I had
easy, bro.
I had to find my own way of getting broken down and going through life. You told me this thing I say all the time. Life be lifing, and it will knock you like crazy. And if you don't believe and trust in your foundation and in Jesus, and just truly believing that, not just saying it because everyone likes to say it, because it's trendy now. It's trendy to be a Christian in a weird way.
I don't like that.
Like,
I have my own opinions.
When life comes at you, what are you really going to lean on? When COVID came, you saw what people leaned on. They all fell apart, right? So I think it's just been that journey for me in the last 4 or 5 years of what are you really about, bro? Mm-hmm. Like when stuff hits the fan, like what are you really about? And I got exposed a lot in the last couple of years, and now I'm here. Here we are. I'm back at home. Creative Culture. What's good?
Yeah.
You know?
And I think our relationship has always been very, we can put all this away.
Yeah.
And put all those mics out. Like, we can have this conversation on the phone, through text, on FaceTime, in person, while we're eating. I still remember everything that we've gone through, you and I as a friendship. I remember the day that we were at, was it Sandy's in Clovis or whatever that breakfast spot is called? And I remember, I can go right now and tell you exactly where we sat.
Yeah.
And I remember you saying like, hey, we accepted this offer and we're moving, but I don't want Creative Culture to die. And you remember you looking at me, you said, you are Creative Culture. Mm-hmm. This is you, bro. You do it. It's you. Change the logo. Do as you please. Do whatever's in your heart, whatever God has placed in your heart. And part of me was broken because I like, our friendship is over. He's going to be too far.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, a couple weeks later, I'm moving to the Bay Area. It's like even further. But our friendship was never built on content. It was never built on social media. It was never built on something we built. our friendship was legit just built on real friendship. We went 6-7 months without talking.
Yeah.
We talked that one time. It was like if we never stopped talking, because it was a real bond that we created. It was a real friendship that we had created. A real friendship within our families and everything. And I remember that happening, and I just told Ashley, like, this is gonna be tough, but I'm good, and we're gonna get through it. Part of me didn't want to do it again because something we built. I've always been the guy. I don't like to build nothing alone.
Yeah.
I don't like getting all the shine. I've always been that way. You know that. I hate being the guy in the forefront. That's why, like, sometimes certain things happen. I'm like, gosh, why? You know, but to go back a little bit, and you were talking about how creative culture was on the rise. I mean, I think for like 2 months straight, we were getting every video you posted on TikTok was getting like 16 above.
Yeah, I talked to my dad about it. I was like, we were a stretch where even just our full podcast were getting 200-300 views each video
in 2 days.
Yeah, so it was like, I wonder what would have happened if we were able to.
The last month that we shot, I think we were averaging like 500 or 600 views, and I was just like, how is that even possible? And then, but I know that I wasn't ready for it to blow up. I think I was still too arrogant in my own ways.
Yeah, both of us.
And then down the line, I've had a couple of videos that have done some good numbers, and it's only made me fall on my knees more. God created me a clean heart, Lord. Mm-hmm. I don't want this to get to my head. And even as of recent, this last podcast, I don't even know how I got so many DMs. I'm like, we just talked about our health a little bit. Like, I don't know, it makes sense. Made me fall to my knees. I remember sitting there like, Lord, like, again, you know, the same thing. And it's like, you know, thank you, first of all, that you would allow Ashley and I to have a conversation that has touched others and it's confirmed some stuff for others. But Lord, please keep my heart clean. Keep my, and it's that reassurance that I know it's not me, it's him. That's why I pray every time before I shoot now. We didn't do that with Creative Culture. We would just go up there and shoot. And we've shot with pastors. We've shot with artists. We've shot with worship leaders. We've shot with your typical just regular guys. And we've, you know, and I just feel that I'm still growing and I'm allowing, because sometimes we don't allow people to speak into us because we're too guarded. And I'm guarded, but I'm not guarded enough to where I know that it's the Holy Spirit allowing this person to speak to me, you know, and actually listening. Bro, you know how many times I've gone to church my entire life to where I heard the word, I didn't listen to the word. The difference between hearing and listening.
It's the majority of probably our childhood.
But the last couple of years, bro, I've been listening to the word.
Yeah.
When the word is brought forth in community, in a gathering, I'm listening. When I'm at the gym and I'm not listening to music, I'm listening to preachings or a podcast. I'm listening to it. Yes, I'm more so even focused on the words that are coming in my ears more than even my workouts sometimes. Sometimes I'll stop a workout and I'm like, hold up, let me rewind that back. And I'll take notes. Yeah. And then I put my phone back and continue my workout. And it's just different now. Like, I don't want to be caught off guard in a sense. To where if something happens, a blow up happens, a clip that we have goes 3-4 million views, whatever the case is, I end up booking a big guest out of nowhere. Like, it doesn't get to my head. It doesn't get to me. You know, Puerto Ricans are we're one of the easiest, you know, cultures to get prideful in a second. You know, we get prideful and tell me I look good, it's over. Can't nobody tell my head ain't gonna fit through the door, you know? But it's that, like, it's keeping the remembrance of being humble.
For sure.
And humble is not something you say, it's something you do. It's not something you talk, it's something you walk. And how many times have I said I'm humble and I'm not? I just rather let my character be the example. And I still haven't shared how many rooms I've been in. I probably won't. I've met some other people that have won Grammys in the music industry. Pastors that if I was the name, you'd be like, you met him? that are quote unquote, celebrity pastors. But to me, that doesn't matter because I didn't put myself in that room. God did.
Yeah.
God allowed me to walk into the room. My character and my integrity kept me in that room, and it's allowed me to see things. And these lights and all that, it's fake. If Ashley right now gets mad at us, she can touch that and everything shuts off.
Flip that switch.
You know what I'm saying? And none of this saves.
Yeah.
Because it's that quick, And I think both of us went through almost like a wilderness season in our own right mind. Right? I end up going back to the Bay. You end up transitioning to Bakersfield. And then wilderness happened. Yeah, we're starting to see God do some incredible things. I feel like we just got to the entrance of the milk and honey. Like, oh, this is what it looks like.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I feel like I'm coming out of that and entering into something different.
Yeah.
But if I was to get, hey, I'm okay with just where I'm at now and not keep trying and walking.
Yeah.
What's that going to do for me?
Yeah.
And just fall right back into my old ways. So it's one of the things for me is now it's discipline. And we've talked about that. Or you made a video. I talked about it a little bit too.
I shouted you out on it. I had to.
Discipline is everything. We can have the biggest goals and vision for everything and vision for our families and what we want to happen. But if you don't have discipline, that ain't going nowhere, bro. If you don't have the discipline to wake up in the morning and pray the first thing, if you don't have the discipline to go get your workout done, if you don't got the discipline to keep dating your wife, everything you're working towards, if you don't have the discipline to go to spend some time at church for an hour and a half, 2 hours on a Sunday, your vision, your goals ain't nothing.
It ain't your vision at that point. It's your vision. It's not God's vision at that point. Yeah. It's what you want to do, not what God has intended for you to do. It's true, bro. Like I've found to be just disciplined. Now there's some areas where I need to be a little more extra disciplined in, and I've slacked off and I have, but nonetheless, like I can't live without doing certain things because it's just part of who I am now. I know I'm gonna go to the gym 5 days a week. I know exactly what workouts I'm doing. I know exactly how long roughly my workouts are gonna be. I know that this day I'm gonna have to push a little extra because I'm tired and I'm sore. Everything in my body hurts, and I gotta redo this again.
Yeah.
But then it's the same way with the Bible. I'll get stuck on 2 weeks, just one verse. And it's like I'm dissecting this one verse because this verse keeps bothering me. Not in a bad way, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's that same, it's that same prayer life. It's like you have to, it's what I can't be consistent no more. Because consistency leaves.
Yeah.
But being disciplined, bro, it becomes a lifestyle.
Yeah.
It becomes something like when you were talking about that, like, consistency is not enough. I'm like, bro, I was saying
motivation's not enough.
Motivation's not enough. Yeah. And I'm like, he's right. Motivation ain't enough. But to me, even being consistent is not enough. Because I can be consistently dumb at doing the same thing. That's not doing nothing for me. It's like just being disciplined and knowing and having somebody correct me, bro.
Yeah.
You have no idea the amount of correction I sometimes get. I mean, I got this past week, bro. The belt I was getting whooped this week.
Dang, Ash.
It had nothing to do with Ashley either. It was people that I've allowed to do that in my life.
Yeah.
I'm talking about text messages, bro. Don't. I'm like, dang it, he's right. I didn't even have to think it. I didn't even have to say it. No one even had to see it. But he knew because the relationship is now built there. And I think we're both at a place where, man, we just got to keep letting God chisel at this body. And I'm not talking about physical, spiritual.
Yeah.
Because we know Christianese too well.
Facts.
I know what Bible verse is going to make everybody jump.
You know the one-liners that are going to make them go crazy.
I'm tired. Everyone's titled me the one-liner, man. Even at our church, like, you need Nemo to talk. Bro, Nemo's going to give you that one line that's going to just... Even at church, like, hey, what's the one line for the day? I'm like, I ain't got nothing.
Get right or get left. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I have nothing. I have nothing anymore. And to me, it's like, I don't even have that because I've lived too much off of that's become my identity. I don't know. Now it's just like,
It goes back to that. We've lived too much on motivation.
Yeah.
Like even like bad motivation.
Terrible.
Like I'm going to prove to you.
You know how many times?
I'm going to prove to you that I was made for this. That kind of stuff. The bad stuff, right? Not even just the good motivation of like, I want to be fit or whatever. But all that fades. It goes away. And then what else do you have?
I don't do this for nobody else but for me.
Yeah.
I've learned to like, if we use a gym for instance, I'll be honest, I don't go to the gym to make my wife still fall in love with me. And to my boy, take that shirt off. It's not for that.
Woof.
It's not.
Boy, take that shirt off. Pause.
No,
pause.
but like, it's not for that.
Yeah.
It's not even for me to have energy for my daughters. It's me to be able to look in the mirror and be like, bro, you see that neck? You got one. You see your traps, they're coming. It's that I can look at myself and I can smile at that guy I look at.
Yeah.
Maybe physically. That's me for the gym. Spiritually, is God smiling? Or is he, here he goes again.
It's that one. Here he goes again.
Here he goes again. Look. He took 20 steps back just today after he took 50 forward yesterday.
Here goes again. That's even you telling yourself that.
Yeah, and there's moments where, and my anger rises. Oh, here I go. All right, relax. And it's that conviction immediately, because you can feel convicted and still do it.
Yep.
I've done that a lot. How many times have I done stuff where I feel extremely convicted about? I'm still going to do it though.
That's fleshy.
And then 2 years later, you're still dealing with that issue because you said, I'm still going to do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to do it. It hurts.
That's fleshy,
Too
bro.
much work.
Yeah.
So I think we're both I think we're continually growing. I think we both got to a place where like, all right, our growth is here and we're just going to stay there.
Yeah. My biggest thing for me has been that I'm trying to focus on is starving this. That's why I say fleshy, starving this stuff as much as possible. Starving my fleshy wants. Like I can't listen to certain things. Like I don't listen to certain podcasts anymore. And I say anymore, the last couple months, music, like, cause we can go crazy to some peso pluma up in here, but it's not good for me. You know what I'm saying? No. So I've been trying to like cut a lot of that stuff out.
All my stuff for music is all worship in church.
Ooh, I saw that transformation on there. Let's go.
I also know one of the guys.
That's true. That's true.
No, I'm just kidding. but no, like it's legit. Like living a life fully to where if someone was to cut me open, it's rare you'll find a leak. Now, granted, we're human. We're human and we live in this world. There's gonna be some type of leakage, but like the most minimal leaks possible, because I want to be the greatest example of God to others.
But even leaks, dude, like if there's leaks, I'm so tired of just putting like tape over the leaks.
I don't want tape, bro. I need surgery. Like,
yeah.
Forget, you know how like you get a cut real deep, they need to put stitches and give me that. Don't give me no Band-Aid. I want stitches. It's going to hurt. I want it to hurt. Let it hurt. Correction is not always supposed to feel good.
Yeah.
Correct me. Tell me I'm wrong. Like, and I'm like that.
Yeah.
My dad, Pops, was like, tell me, you know, this is what happened. I had a situation that happened last Sunday that this is the first time in maybe like 3 years that I let somebody take me out of my character. I wasn't mad at that person. I got mad at myself. How would you let this happen? How would you let somebody take you out of your character? And as I was mad and I didn't want to receive nothing from nobody, shout out to Andrew. He came up to me as I was mad. He heard the voice shaking. He said, stop, breathe.
Chill out.
And then he corrected me right there. And I'm like,
let's go, Andrew. Dude.
As soon as he said that, I was like, damn, bro, you right. Like, you right. And 2 years, maybe 3 years ago, bro, I would have.
He's swinging.
What you mean? Tell me to relax, bro.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Go figure this. But I just sat, and he knows. Him out everybody. I sat there, bro, and I took that correction.
Yeah.
And the anger left like that.
You ever heard this saying, if you don't use it, you lose it? And we always hear that in like whether it's physical or even like good habits.
Yeah.
Right. Why is it not like that with the bad ones? Because there's certain things that we have, anger issues, right? I have lustful issues and different things like that in me that I am aware of. But why can't it be that same statement? If I don't use it, I lose it.
Because it defines your character.
And I've literally thought about this a lot because I'm like, God, just take it away from me. You hear this in the Bible, bro. Why? Just take it.
Yeah.
Get this out of me. And it's always like, bro, like his grace is enough. His grace is enough. Even if you're going to struggle with anger the rest of your life, his grace is enough.
Yeah.
You might struggle with that thing for a long time, if not the rest of your life, whatever it is for you and whoever's watching that, right? For me, certain things, for you, certain things.
Yeah.
For everybody in this room, it's a certain thing. His grace is enough, and just keep pouring and like reloading that goodness.
There's certain
every
habits.
day.
There's certain habits that we've done for so long that they're very hard to get rid of.
Yeah.
My first response to everything was anger for a long time. And it wasn't until I got angry at the wrong person and I affected that person in a way that I was like, I can't lose this person because of my anger. My wife.
Right.
I was like, I can't lose this over anger. And it took me to the place of therapy. You know what it's like to go to therapy and want to beat the crap out of the person? Because all they're doing is poking you. All they're doing is they're poking you. And he's like, we're dealing with your anger, but I'm gonna, for the first 2 weeks, I'm gonna push every button.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna make sure, and I know that you're, and then what he said, like, he goes, I knew you were strong enough to not do it, even though you was ready to swing. Even though I could see the blood, you were crying because you were that upset. He goes, you saw the control you had? You've had that all along. But then he started to talk about my childhood, and he started to talk about certain things, and it's like, okay, this stems from that. But now that there's certain things that has happened that I was quick to anger, now I'm slow to anger. I was quick to say something, now I'm like, all right, let me listen. And that's why, like, last Sunday when that happened, I told Ashley, I was like, where was I at spiritually that it got me like that fleshly? Because I've dealt with this before and same person and I never responded. But what was it about it today? And I had to literally sit there and think. And I don't think I was wrong in the aspect of being upset, but I think the way that I moved about it was wrong. So whatever he did doesn't matter no more. It was my reaction that mattered to me more. I sat when I got home from church and all that stuff and going out to eat. When I got home, I sat there and I hugged Ashley. I had asked her to come. I was sitting on the bed and I asked her to come. And I just hugged her and she's like, it's okay, you don't have to cry. And I said, I'm not crying because of what happened. I said, I'm crying because and God said I'm good. And I was praying. And I saw where I was wrong at and I accepted my wrong. You know what it's like to go and apologize to the person that offended you? And the person that you know was wrong. And you have to apologize to him because that's what the Holy Spirit told you to do. And you had to let go of your anger. I wanted to be mad, bro. Like, I had the right to be mad, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Because it would have affected me. It would have affected her. It would have affected, my girls. It would have affected even my job.
Yeah.
What happened if my anger was to the point where I could have lost my job this week? But I got angry and then in a split second, everything popped in my head. Okay, shut your mouth, bro. Go walk away. Get out of the room. And I left. And then someone followed me and immediately correct. He's wrong and I'm going to deal with him. But this is where you're wrong at.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh.
Your response.
Bro, anger went from here to it wasn't even existent because of that. And yeah, man, I'm just learning to not be Christianese anymore.
Christianese. We still gonna get one-liners though, right?
Oh, of course. That's just not, I don't think that leaves. But like I'm doing my very best to not just give everybody the cliche things. And that's why, like, I keep using Mel as an example because he's right here. But he just gave me some books because I told him about, I want to get deeper in my word and I want to get deeper into what I'm doing. And challenged. Here's these books. The books was heavy, bro.
Yeah.
They weren't even that thick, but they're heavy.
Heck yeah.
So I'm like, he told me, he's like, before you read this, and this is going to help you and guide you in a sense. And I accepted that.
Yeah.
Because I want to go deeper. And sometimes going deeper, which means you got to dig harder. It's going to hurt a little more. It might hurt. Forearms are going to be bulging, hurting for a little bit because you got to dig so much. And I'm just trying to dig and just get better.
I think there's just so many people that grew up like us in the church that life has happened. Yeah. And there is a sleeping giant inside in some people that has been nudged for a long time, and you started stirring and then you wouldn't, and you fall back asleep. And I just think there's so many of us that need to wake up again and refocus, fix our focus on what really matters. And I think there's a lot of us starting to come around. And I think that comes with age too. It's like you think you know it all when you're 24, 25, 26. And then you start getting smacked around. You have kids. And you're like, whoa. Like, slow down. Like, what are we doing? What's going on? And that changes you, man. It's like, even when I was telling you that, like, the person that V met is not the same dude. He's gone. Long gone. He's still got the same bad habits. Same things that make him fall down. Bad, yeah. Those are still there. Yeah. But the other stuff has changed. And that's where I'm at, is just like getting back to what I'm really about, you know? And I think the shift was a flash of like, this is what you should be doing, bro. And just trying to refocus on trusting God and having faith, having real faith, not like this Fugazi faith or this fake faith that you can sound like you know what you're talking about. And people are like, what is this dude about? But it's nothing there. I'm trying to get to some realness at this point. And yeah, it's taking some time, taking some licks, but here we are, still going.
Who knows, bro, what God has intended for our future, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't think I was ever going to do this again. I didn't think I was going to get that. I didn't think I was going to do certain things that we're doing. And I allowed God to just take it. Yeah. I allowed the Holy Spirit to guide me through it. And now we're here. Mm-hmm. Now we're expanding and we're doing some stuff. And I feel like I've gotten some fresh vision for it. And I was like, Lord, if it's your will, like, do it. If it's not, then don't. You know, like, I'm gonna tell you what to do. You're God. Mm-hmm. That's where I'm at, and I'm enjoying my time with it, and I'm still healing from certain things as well. Yeah, and I'm still learning to just lean on the process, but not lean on it so much that I just fall in the process, but lean on it enough to where, you know, I can see the growth and grow from things. That's it. Mm. You know, it's too hard to play a facade, man. It takes too much time, takes too much energy. I don't really care for it. I don't care for it no more. Yeah. I think in 2020 and 21, I was more focused on my image. Now it's just like, who cares? Yeah. You know, I can't take none of this anyways when I go, so yeah.
Yeah, the followers, all that stuff.
And I got 4 eyes watching me at all times.
Yep. Yeah, you sure do.
I got my daughter.
Yeah, 6 eyes.
6, because my wife too. Mm-hmm. And the only way that the body runs well is if the mind runs well. If the head runs well.
That's what I'm trying to fix right now. Yeah. That mental.
Hey, babe, can you text Nia for me? Nia, I'm recording a podcast. Why are you calling me? It's my boss.
Nice. Should I get that video done, bro?
No, I ain't got nothing else. I'm done this weekend. Nice. But man, dude, thank you so much. That's literally, we didn't talk about nothing.
We guessed that.
And I eventually want to talk about certain things that, but yeah, bro, I appreciate you coming on, and
yeah,
I love you, man. You've always had a place here already. I've always told you, bro, like
for sure.
creative culture still with you, man, no matter what. And I'm grateful for the friendship we still have. And
yeah,
besides all this, we still brothers.
We just love this a lot. This is an obsessed hobby right here.
It's bad.
It's real bad.
Expensive hobby. We got a nice
whole production.
We could probably buy a Honda Civic or something with this, you know.
Buy a small vehicle.
Give me SUV or something with all this equipment. No, man, but thank you for coming on, man. And
thanks for having me, bro.
I look forward to seeing what God has. You know, I've always been a big champion of you.
Yeah.
Always supported from day one. Always will be, man.
Yeah.
That's just who I am.
We appreciate that. You're one of the few for sure that's actually seeing who we truly are. So appreciate you.
Yeah, man.
Love you, man.
All right.